Kris.
Yannick, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for talking about our movie.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, obviously, I love your work, but not just Murdoch Mysteries, all the way back to Sue Thomas FBI. My wife and I would watch that show.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. Wow. Yeah, that's going back a ways. Yeah.
that's that but so I really appreciate the chance to chat with you. It really is exciting.
Absolutely. I'm all yours.
Yannick, it's a privilege to speak with you about Baking All the Way. The film is such a joy. It is so much fun. And of course, not only are you in it and doing a great job, but you're behind the camera as well. Which I had the chance to speak with Cory, and she was chatting. We were chatting a little bit about that, and I was wondering, for you, what was your vision behind the camera for setting up Baking All the Way?
I didn't want to tell too many people at the beginning because I might have got shot down or not hired to direct it, but I wanted to turn things on their ear a little bit. And I remember early on, I said something close to that to Bill, my producer, and he said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Whoop, let's be careful. Let's just stick with the mission here and not say anything and let things unfold the way that I'm hoping they will." And so that started with casting. I think there were a lot of suggestions. The way this works, you've got to have certain people in place, or combinations of people in place, or you might not find a home for your movie. So you have to be careful with this stuff. But I thought very early on that Cory would be a great choice for the movie, and for her it's always being the best friend and the bridesmaid but never the bride, and so having her be the lead is very visibly different than a lot of these movies. So that was step one. The fact that she's a musical performer and able to, lend a song to the movie. Ooh, wow. What do you know? Amazing coincidence. Um, I'm not going to say it was my idea by any means, but how great. And then being able to hire the cast the way that we did. So once I was able to leverage my acting career and bring in some other, heavy hitters like Deb McGrath, Jane Eastwood, Colin Mockery, then people were like, "Oh yeah, hey, this is gonna be good. Okay, great. What else are you thinking?" Well, all of those other little kids that you guys think should be in this movie, I don't want them in this movie. I think Bianca, who's never done anything before, has a better head on her shoulders for this material and the flavor of what I want to do than anybody else. Problem is, she was under a certain age threshold. So it was going to be a little bit difficult to schedule her because you can only have young performers in for so many hours, which is only right.
Yeah.
But that was going to put an added stress on scheduling. But I was like, it's so worthwhile to have the right person, the right tone, because kid actors, it can be a thing.
Yeah.
And she just had it. You could close your eyes and listen to her little audition, and she got the material, she got the idea, she had all that sort of sassiness, and I'm like, that kid's gonna have a force of her own in the movie, and it's important. And so that I was able to stand on that decision and get what I wanted. So all of these things are little steps in creating the flavor of the movie, because once you pull the string and let these people go on their own, you're going to have a certain tone, and that's what I wanted to achieve. I wanted this to not be typical fare, I wanted it to stand out in an ocean of this. There's a lot of these holiday movies. It really is a lot of them, and they're formulaic, and that's good because that means there's more work for us. There's a volume of this stuff, but why not try something a little bit different? So um, that's part of my secret. And then and then yeah, the tone of it is unique. It's different, and that's what I wanted. And hopefully that in the sort of landscape will set it apart.
It really is. I mean, I think one of the things that I've noticed before, and I admit I'm a fan of you talk about this style of film. I really truly am, and some of them are far better than others. This is one of the better ones, absolutely. I'm not just saying that
Right.
because it's you. It truly is. I'm wondering, from your perspective, what is it about this style of film that seems to amp up at the holidays? There aren't a lot of April films of this nature, of of this storytelling, but Christmas they go like boom all the way up, and I'm just wondering why you think that is.
Uh, well, I think there's just like comfort food, there is comfort viewing. That's one of the aspects of it. Visually, some of this stuff takes us back to portions of our life when we're younger. And there's some comfort there. There's some familiarity there. There's also aspects of, that you're often dealing with family dynamic,
Mm.
and to watch other people's family dynamic can be hugely entertaining and very funny. Um, I think there's a familiarity. I think you can sort of get up and go and grab a drink from the fridge, and you're not going to miss much. But when you come back, you're going to be just as entertained as you were before you left. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm grateful for that, because it has been a large amount of the work that I've done for decades of this career. So, I'm not poo-pooing any genre. I never will, because they all have their merit. If you can do that, then I think you've achieved a level of success that's rare. To have people have one of these types of movies stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that you use the term sort of comfort films. Or comfort. It's. I think this is a season where people grab their comfort foods. As we talk, the whole thing's about baking, comfort films, and there is a sort. Well, I don't want to say it's. I don't want to say there's a certain level of comfort because that's just repetitive. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We're not, this time of year pulling up documentaries about foreign conflicts. It's not really what we want to be consuming at this time of year. Or I say that generally speaking, of course.
You mean you don't sit around with your family on Christmas Eve watching a documentary on foreign conflicts? I mean, I just thought everybody did that. But not that you couldn't.
Sarajevo, come on.
Um, Absolutely. But the film is such a joy, and one of the things that I thought was so interesting is the importance of the recipes themselves, the importance of the recipe to the story. And one of the lines that's said is that family recipes seem to be a part of who we are. And I was just wondering, from your perspective, what that means.
I think you're the idea was to create a character out of this recipe. This recipe is talked about and floating throughout the story, and it's its own character a little bit. And it's important to maintain that through the story. But as we've gone on and we've done press and we've talked to different people, and people have given their review or their opinion or their compliments and stuff. I think one of the things that comes up often is these family heirloom things, and sometimes that's a recipe. So I just learned, and I had no idea, but there are people who will put recipes on their tombstone, like that's in their will, that the family recipe finally, okay, so grandma, please give me the recipe to your famous gingerbread cookies. Over my dead body will I share it with anybody. And part of that is protecting heritage. Part of that is I don't want anybody to do it wrong. Part of that is some people they don't want to sell out. I don't know what it is, but I've heard that there are people who will put their famous thing on their tombstone.
Wow.
Can you
Well, then
believe that?
everybody's got it. I mean, come on. It's like now it's just out there if you do it that way.
Well, yeah, I guess.
But that's wild. I mean, because some of these things they are so protected, and we understand why your character does that. As the film goes on, it's sort of revealed as to why that's so important. Um, there's this importance of maintaining family connections, relationships. But
Yeah, that was a big part of it. So in our story, the recipe was part of his previous life before his wife passed away. That family nucleus, and so it didn't really matter who or what or came along. That was going to remain with him, and so on. So for somebody to be able to sort of crack the ice and get that out of him was a big figurative thing, and so yeah, it's closely guarded in many respects, and then to be able to sort of get through as part of the romance of it and all that.
absolutely. One of the things I love about this film, particularly, is there's this really real sense of home. Now this is a theme that runs through a lot of holiday films, but this one particular, I think it really stands out. And I'm wondering for you, what does home mean? What does home mean to you?
Well, it's interesting that you picked up on that because I fought really hard to impart that.
Mm.
So I made sure that the bakery felt like home, like for the people to come in, and it had a homely vibe to it. And that took a lot of work because of locations and the shootability of certain spaces and stuff. And I actually had the set shrunk
Mm.
to half its size in order to create that vibe. And so we had to put up some fake walls and actually shrink the set to make it feel that way. And it was a similar thing with the choice of the house that we shot in and all of these different things, because I think home, is an extension of us, and it also is an extension of where we overlap with each other. And if the space is too big, we can't overlap very much. So we gotta be close to each other, near and dear, and all of those things are very much a real thing. You can look at science, and we're one of the only mammals that don't huddle together for survival. As even though we do figuratively, there's some of that is lost. So I wanted to really impart that in the movie. I'm breaking it down super scientifically
I
now. I
love
hope
it.
I'm not nerding out too much,
No,
but my process is my sort of technical process does have a lot of emotion and feeling at the root. Oh boy, I sound like a total moron, but anyway.
not at all. If anything, it helps me appreciate the film even more because you put so much thought into developing concepts in amidst your sets. Like that, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that's really interesting, actually. Um,
Uh,
well, with that in mind, Yannick, I mean, it was interesting speaking with Cory. I asked Cory how you did, and
oh
as
yeah.
director,
Oh great.
and she had high marks. But I said to her, "What do you bring to a set?" She said that you come in absolutely focused. It was really interesting. She said every day you came in focused and ready to go. So I was wondering, from your perspective, was it a challenge? I mean, I know you've directed episodes of Murdoch before, but is it a challenge for you to step in front of the camera while being behind it?
Oh yeah. I think, yeah, the thing that suffers the most is at that very last moment is the performance, because it takes an incredible amount of focus to act
Hmm.
for the camera. Any number of things can distract you, and that's really what it comes down to, because we all have the same level of mental retention if we practice. So you often see performers flub or make mistakes. That's just nerves from distraction. So being able to eliminate distraction is a habit. It takes a huge amount of focus, though. Directing also takes a huge amount of focus. And at the end of the day, you're making a movie. So directing wins out, and your performance, I could just see sometimes the actors, you could see in their eyes, they're like, "Oh my God, Yannick, help me out! you're you're so distracted right now." Because I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh yeah, that's really nice. I'm gonna have to get you to do that part again. Oh, that word sounds." I feel bad for some of the actors I have to act opposite while I'm directing. I'm analyzing, and they can probably see it in my eyes. Anyway, but they're all very generous, and they trust me, and so it works out at the end of the day. At least I hope, and it's all I try. Yes, I come in a little bit focused, and sometimes probably a little bit intense. So I've been told. So I have to I gotta soften that up a little bit. I try to be a little bit more, because we're not saving people's lives. We're just making TV. I can't be too serious about it. But the part that makes me serious is knowing that I'm spending somebody else's money. So I want to be responsible, and I want to, every minute counts. So.
For the record, she was saying it is a good thing. She was impressed. She wasn't. She was saying that it was great because you came in and you knew what you wanted, and
Okay.
that was so. So that was praise. It was praise.
Okay, good.
Honestly, the film's a joy. I mean, just as we're starting to wrap up, I have to ask you one Murdoch question if I can. Uh,
Absolutely.
I mean, the show's been on. This is season 14, I think, isn't it? Uh,
We're airing 16.
you're airing 16. Wow. So I'm
Yeah.
even. So this was my question. Is you know, 16 seasons, you guys are still going strong, more popular, continue to grow.
Yeah, that part's strange. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the plan to is there an end in sight, or are you just planning to go as best you can? Because the quality is great, like it continues to be great, great writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I've always sort of said in the back recesses of my mind, if it stops being fun, or if any amount of quality diminishes, or if fans go away, then that's an automatic indicator. But none of those things have happened. I mean, I challenge myself with more involvement, and I wear a lot of hats, so I'm not lacking for creative output and challenge. The fans love the show. It's known throughout the world. It's become a cultural icon. In Canada, it's part of the fabric of our country and our identity now. It's very weird. People meet each other on cruises and connect over Murdoch. Their knowledge of, I don't know. I mean, the stories that I hear are incredible. People who share the final moments with their loved one over episodes of our show, and they tell me about this. We go pretty deep into people's living rooms, man, and that's not lost on me. So what the plan is, I'm out of plans. I don't know. As long as they, I won't be the one to end this show. That's for sure.
Well, that's great news. Great news for all of us, and great news especially for the fans. But Yannick, thank you so much. It's such a delight to chat with you. I appreciate the film. It's such a joy.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Have a great day and a great holidays.
Yes, same to you. Happy holidays. Enjoy.
Thanks, you too.